how does HubSpot pricing work? This is a question we get a lot, and the fact is it's actually pretty complicated and hard to wrap your head around. We're used to seeing software with 1, 2, 3 pricing options, and that's it, but HubSpot is a little bit more complex, and as such, their pricing page is also pretty complex. So what happens is we get clients who say, hey, I took a look at HubSpot pricing and I just don't get it. So this video is for you. I want to walk you through how to navigate this whole pricing experience to try to find the pricing you need for HubSpot. So I'm Sarah Kaffler. I'm a CRM consultant and founder of Centric Squared, a CRM-driven marketing agency. We're HubSpot partners, have been for 6 years now, and so we know how to field these questions. We're used to the pricing. We follow the updates. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and we'll make sure to let you know when there are updates worthy of sharing and explaining. Where do you start? What do you need? How do you even come out with a quote? I will start by saying that HubSpot is notorious for having really good data analytics. So they know if you are visiting their pricing page, if you are viewing certain modules. And as such, I'm viewing this today in an incognito window so that I don't get follow-up calls and emails from their sales team. I suggest if you're just poking around and wanting to take a look at their, tool and pricing, that you do the same because they will reach out and, track you down. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So I'm in the HubSpot pricing page, and when you first go there, you are kind of land in the Marketing Hub at the Business and Enterprise tab. So if you have sticker shock, you landed on this page and you go, what? This is not what I was prepared to pay. That's why they immediately put you into the higher tier plans to take a look by default, probably so that the lower tier plans look more attractive. It's a good strategy. And you'll also notice that my pricing is in euros. Yours might be in US dollars. That depends, of course, on where you are navigating. And I live in Germany, if you didn't know that already. So that's why I see euros and other people see dollars. So high level, there's 3 main products, main parts of HubSpot. There's the Marketing Hub, there's the Sales Hub, and there's the Service Hub. So 1, 2, 3 used to be the only 3. In recent years, they've added more. They've added a Content Hub, Operations Hub, and a Commerce Hub. These are a little bit less developed and a little bit less common. So I want to start by talking through marketing and sales and service, because those are kind of the biggest pieces. So if you go to the Marketing Hub, and if you go to this individual and small teams, you'll see listed on the page that there's a number of marketing features and tools available for free. The next plan up is called a starter plan, and that's, in the $20 a month range. It depends. Their pricing, if you click, you'll see that it's always more advantageous to pay for a full year. You'll get a discount on the seat pricing than if you pay monthly, pay as you go. So you'll see that feature across their whole pricing. After starter, you jump up to a professional plan. And I want to take a look at this because it's really a common part of their HubSpot pricing strategy. First thing is there's a lot included in the free plan. So if you scroll down, you'll see a kind of list of what it includes. And then if you go down to the features section, see more features, you'll be able to see a really kind of cross comparison between the free plan, the starter plan, and the professional plan. And you'll see that there's actually quite a lot available on the free plan. There's a big step in functionalities on the starter plan, a really big step up to the professional plan. So those are the 3 kind of main tiers of their pricing and of their products that you'll see, and all the details are down here. So when we're telling clients to, think about HubSpot, are you interested in using it? What do you need exactly? The first thing we do is we have a conversation with our clients, and we ask them questions about what are they planning to do with the, their marketing features. Does that mean email marketing? Do they need to connect social media? How sophisticated are their programs to work, to work and find the right plan? Most of the time, our clients start off on the free plan and then upgrade to that starter plan. And sometimes, occasionally, not often, but sometimes the business really does grow and when the needs really do grow when they go up to the professional plan. What I want to say is, number one, you get a lot of bang for your buck on the free tool. The biggest, as a drawback of their free tool, you'll see is the number of emails you can send per month. It's limited to 2,000 email sends per month. So you might be asking, can I get by on the free tool? Will I need to upgrade to the starter plan? And the biggest, there's two factors really, but the biggest limitation is how many emails you're sending per month. If you have a list of 300, 400, 1,000 people and you send maybe 1 or 2 emails a month, you can probably get by on the free plan. If your list is 10,000 people, you won't be able to send a full campaign, and that would be kind of a tipping point over to that marketing starter tier. The other thing that clients, we serve small businesses, wide range of industries. It could be a B2B business, it could be agencies, it could be financial services. One of the big, questions that comes up is about the HubSpot logo. So you'll notice that if you are on the free plan, they're going to put their logo, HubSpot, the big orange, blot, at the bottom of every email, and they're not going to let you take it off. So that's one thing where when clients, we're reviewing emails, we're getting started, we're about to launch, and somebody will say, hold on a second, do we need to put that logo? Do we need to be doing advertising for HubSpot here? Doesn't that kind of, leave maybe a not the best impression of our brand? And that's often a tipping point to upgrade to the starter. So from a business side, especially from a branding side, some brands really find that annoying and don't want to have the logo in their outbound communications. And so that's one reason people upgrade to the starter plan. I will say, it doesn't really matter. Everybody knows you're using a software to run your email. And, it's not a surprise that you're using HubSpot and somebody else is using Klaviyo and somebody else is using whatever, Go High Level. It doesn't matter. Everybody's using a software. Personally, it doesn't really bother me. We were on the free plan for years. So I founded this agency about 8 years ago, and I think we were on the free plan until 2 or 3 years ago. Really, it's been a while. We got by pretty far on the free plan, and having the logo didn't really bother us. Not every business is the same, but I'm just throwing it out there. It's not going to be important to every business, but it could be, it could be, and that would be kind of a tipping point to up level. The social media side too is kind of the biggest reason we see people moving up to the professional plan. Social media, most companies are doing something for social media. The question is not, do you do social media? It's, do you need that managed centrally within your CRM? And of course, there are some features. There's, a scheduling panel, a review panel, being able to integrate your inbox for ticketing or things like that. Those are things that might be interesting to your business, but not every business actually needs their social media to get connected to their CRM. And so, that's one of the big tipping points up to professional. Okay, so that's the marketing suite. You can take a look. I'm not going to be able to go through everything, but obviously I, recommend clients to take a look at these features, and especially the ones where they're not included in the free tool plan or the free plan. Ask yourself, is this a deal breaker for our business, right? And that's going to depend on what you were using before, what you're used to, what the risk of losing a feature or, the added value of gaining a feature. I will say that, in general, we've been doing CRM selection implementation for brands for years now, and having something on a feature list doesn't necessarily mean your team is going to use it seamlessly. And so take a step back and kind of, think about it, and you can always upgrade as you go. It's a lot easier to upgrade than it is to downgrade, and we'll cover that in a second. Okay, so let's jump into the sales side. So Sales Hub, which is basically, maybe not so much the email marketing piece, but there's a number of features here. The big one being a pipeline. So if you're getting started with CRM and you're in some kind of a, service-based business, like say we are a marketing agency, we're going to have some kind of a sales process, right? And ours is pretty simple. It's something like there's an inquiry, we're going to have a conversation. They're interested in moving forward. They wanted a proposal. Did that proposal get signed? Yes or no? And we can kind of track, the various sales activities that are happening in our business to help us track of it. And of course, the insights you get from, if the project didn't move forward, why didn't it move forward? Kind of capturing that information can just be really insightful as you're kind of reviewing your business and ways to grow and, what happened, where are people dropping off, and all those types of analyses are really made much more easily when you're using a system. So when it's not just in somebody's head and you have something kind of quantifiable to run some reports and get some insights. So the sales features really revolve around this idea of a pipeline, and the free tool can get you, again, pretty darn far. We used it for years. You can have a simple pipeline and simple email templates like, follow up from the call, or can I help you make a decision, or, whatever those touch points are that you might be having throughout your sales process. You can kind of template them in a free tool. And it usually comes down to how many sales people do you have in your team? Is it 1? Is it 10, right? And once you get to multiple people, the need to have some of these additional features can obviously be more apparent. So if it's you or you plus 1, you could probably get by with your free tool. And if you start having a bigger team, or maybe more complicated services, or, you're sending quotes every time you get a web inquiry or things like that, you might need this kind of next level tier. The feature that I like the most in the starter sales hub is it lets you have multiple pipelines. So we have, for example, clients is a pipeline, if they're a small business who needs help setting up, supporting their CRM, help with their email. Those are things that we can do. We have in our client pipeline, but we also have things like, partnerships and referrals and our network, where we have kind of like a partnership pipeline where we can also manage that side of our business. It's not the primary part of our business, but it still kind of involves a similar process where you want to have a discussion. You want to see if you can find an agreement. You want to see if you can work together, if it's a win-win, and then you move forward, right? And so for that reason, for our business, we really like having those two separate pipelines, they're called. And that's one of the reasons people move up to the starter plan, is when their business really has kind of different tracks entirely, not just one main service, but something else. Another feature I really like in the free tool, and gets more interesting when you're on the bigger your team is the meeting scheduler. So we use that all the time. You can go ahead and book a discovery call with us if you want. You'll see what it looks like on the front end, but it's a simple, Calendly-esque system, but native to HubSpot, and it does a good job of creating the Zoom link and, sending out the invite. You can set reminders. It plops it on your calendar. It can buffer time before and after, so you're not back to back. And it's a nice feature to have if you don't necessarily, have an admin to manage that side of the business. Like me, I don't have a full-time virtual assistant, but if, it's just a really useful tool to have. So you do get a free meeting scheduler on the free plan, which will have the HubSpot branding on it. You'll notice that's a recurring theme. Anything outward facing on the free plan, they're using HubSpot logo. But again, everybody knows it's a tool. Nobody thinks you custom built your own meeting scheduler. So I don't really see that as a big drawback. But I guess depending on your business, it might be more important to you. So on the sales side, again, you can get really far on the free tool. The starter tool is, there can be certain needs. One is like multiple pipelines. And the second, the most common one we see is when your sales team is bigger. So on the email side, is your list really big? And then on the sales type, it's your team really big. And those two things can help you kind of narrow down on that. Okay, the last piece I want to talk in depth about is the service hub. So HubSpot has a really cool ticketing system. Think Zendesk or Georges or some of the other providers, help desk software, where you can make sure that your inquiries are being added to a queue and your customer service team is working through and finding resolutions to the queue. I think we're all, as humans in 2025, familiar familiar with creating a ticket, logging a ticket, and we know that this is how things don't fall through the cracks, right? And how businesses are making an effort to streamline, standardize, make sure that every customer inquiry is responded to in a timely fashion. So if you're in a business where this is a pain point, oh my gosh, everything's coming through my email and to my cell phone number and to, you got 7 interfaces, 7 channels that you're trying to manage. Ticketing Hub might be the answer to kind of feed all the inquiries into a unified kind of service tracking system to help your team not lose sight of things and to also give you visibility and reporting on how fast are you resolving open tickets or what types of open tickets are you getting. Is it billing? Is it, a product bug? Is it returns? Like, it depends on your business, of course, what they are, but it gives you the ability to track information about these inquiries and as such gain insight onto it and have it inform your business strategy, right? And can really be useful as a tool if depending on the business. So you get a free ticketing pipeline with your free tools, just like the other ones. You go down here and you can see in the features list, you get 1 ticket pipeline per account. You can have the meeting scheduler as well. You can have some light notifications and tracking and templates and things like that. But you'll see 3 templates in the free tools. You might look at this and be like, 3 templates? No way. We've already got 60 templates that we use, for our ticketing system. Well, great. That's going to be the tipping point to give you the nudge you need to go ahead and use the starter plan, right? So look through these features lists, think about your business, and some things will be tipping points. I find it's kind of similar to service and sales are kind of similar in that usually it's like the size of your team that will determine which of the pricing models you are, going to be a best fit for. Not always, not the only one, but usually if it's just one person doing it, they can probably get by on the free or on the starter plan. Whereas if you really do have a larger team that you're managing, you're probably going to be between the starter and the professional. So take a look at those features and see. Hopefully something will jump out at you. Okay, so those are the 3 main products. You've got marketing, which is, how many emails you're sending out. You've got sales, which is size of your team and also maybe the complexity of your sales process. And service, which is also size of your service team, complexity of your service process. That tend to be the defining factors here. There are 3 more products. I'm just going to briefly overview. One is the Content Hub. This is for businesses that want to build out their entire website in HubSpot. There are advantages to doing this. Most businesses already have a website by the time they're coming to plug in a CRM and are probably not looking to recreate the website from scratch within HubSpot. So most of the time we skip over this, but of course there are some use cases where it makes sense. And then operations is getting almost like a CDP product where HubSpot is pooling in data from various sources to create kind of one unified customer database that you can use for a number of different purposes. Not only that, but it has some things like more advanced deliverability metrics or some permissions if your organization is so big that you really need some more granular permissioning than they offer out of the box. So there can be some use cases where this is interesting, but most of the time not. And then commerce is, of course, when you are, capturing payments, payment processing, linking payments, and that's kind of a bigger financial decision. It's not as established as some of the other products of HubSpot. It hasn't been around for as long, and I have yet to see somebody using this, although apparently there's some large success stories here, including well-known companies. So I'm sure there's a use case for it, but it's not going to be the most common one. So marketing, sales, service, the 3 things you need to think about for your business. During this conversation, you really kind of go, oh, marketing, that's the one I need, or oh, sales, that's all I need. That's perfectly fine. You can go ahead and you can just purchase one of these products. You can go and get your Sales Hub starter and pay your $15 a month or $20 a month, whatever it is, based on your region and your pricing options. But you can go ahead and just buy that one piece. However, they do have a good deal where you can create a bundle. And this is where it can kind of get interesting, where you can say, oh, I want sales and marketing. Those both sound interesting to me, but I'm going to go down here and I'm going to remove all this other stuff that I don't need. And let me see if what the pricing looks like there. So you'll notice if you do the math, it's, slightly beneficial. If you bundle 2 or 3 products a year, there's going to be some kind of a savings here applied. That doesn't mean you should add in things you don't need, but you can self-serve these bundles, and you don't necessarily need to speak to somebody in order to get the right plan. There's a lot of things you can figure out and customize on your own and go ahead and get started. I will say that when you're looking at the marketing products, they have something called marketing contacts. And I want to make a point about this because it's a question we get a lot. What is a marketing contact? Does that mean every person in my CRM? And the short answer of it is no. You can have in your CRM as many contacts as you want. You can have 1 million contacts in your CRM. I actually don't know if there's a limit anymore. They used to advertise 1 million. I'll have to check if that's still up to date. But in the free tool, you can have almost an unlimited number of contacts in your CRM for. However, the question is going to be, are they marketing contacts? Meaning, do you want to be able to send them marketing emails is kind of what that translates to for most, initial use cases. And that could look something like this. Let's take my business, for example. We have, clients, we have team members, we have people who applied to, work with us. We have vendors, we have, all kinds of people in our CRM. We have maybe, 2,000 people in our CRM for our business. These are people that we know, we work with. They're all kind of different categories of people, and they do not all need to receive our marketing list. I do not want to, send our marketing emails to the, HubSpot partner manager or my ClickUp support desk or my, whatever, people that you do business with and work with that aren't necessarily people you need to be marketing to. So there's a way in HubSpot, I can cover this in another video, take a look, we'll link it to this one, but there's a way to go in and tell HubSpot which contacts you want to consider marketing contacts. And that's where the pricing starts to kick in. Like you'll see in this pricing page, but also as you're using HubSpot, it'll say something like, we noticed you wanted to send this email to 500 people, but there's 50 of them that aren't marketing contacts. Do you want to set them as marketing contacts? And they'll help you kind of toggle that property for those profiles so that you can send them the marketing email, right? So there's kind of embedded into HubSpot are these little checks, but you'll see it's a theme that comes up often when you're doing marketing email in HubSpot is managing your marketing contacts, and not just is everybody in our CRM, but how can we decide if these people should be marketing contacts or not, because ultimately that's what you pay for. And so when you're looking at this pricing page, you have 1,000 people set up, by default on this list. But let's say you come in here and you go, no, I actually have 2,000 people. You'll see that price goes up. There's a price per additional marketing contacts, and it's a monthly price. So we tell her, and you'll see when you open up this little pop-up, it'll explain to you how there's an extra fee for every $1,000 or 1,000 contacts, more that you are paying for, and that as you have more and more contacts, that per 1,000 cost goes down. So make no mistake, the cost goes up overall the more contacts you have, but it's one of those, things where the more you do, it's going to be a slight savings for you over time to, rather than the first jump. So that's the way that works. I'll cover that in a different video. Okay, well, I hope you found this useful. I hope you are able to navigate the pricing ecosystem within HubSpot a little bit more easily. If you have any questions, please, don't hesitate to reach out. We do offer a free discovery call. You can come in and book a time. If we can help you, we will. And if we can't, we're happy to point you on your way. So good luck to you, and hope you start using and loving HubSpot.